In 1946, the United States offered to buy Greenland from Denmark for $100 million in gold. In 2019, the idea resurfaced, sparking a global diplomatic frenzy. But why? Why is a massive, ice-covered island, where 80% of the land is uninhabitable, suddenly the most valuable piece of real estate on the planet? Today, we're uncovering the epic history of Greenland, from Viking explorers to the center of a new Cold War. This is the story of how a frozen frontier became the world's most strategic prize. Greenland is the world's largest island, but for centuries, it was a mystery to the Western world. It's a land where Paleo-Inuit cultures survived the harshest conditions on Earth for millennia, where Erik the Red founded a Viking colony that vanished without a trace, and where today the melting ice is revealing riches that could shift the entire global economy. I'm your host for History Trails, and in this video, we're going beyond the ice. We'll explore how Greenland transitioned from a forgotten Norse outpost to a strategic military stepping stone, and why its future, filled with rare earth minerals and new shipping routes, is currently being debated in the halls of power in Washington, Beijing, and Copenhagen. The Paleo-Inuit and the Norse arrival. Long before the first Europeans set foot here, Greenland was home. Around 2500 BCE, Paleo-Inuit cultures migrated across the frozen straits from North America. These were masters of Arctic survival. But for the Western record, the story often starts in 982 CE, with a man named Erik the Red. Exiled from Iceland for manslaughter, Erik sailed west and found a land he ironically named Greenland. It was the ultimate marketing ploy to attract settlers, and it worked. The Norse established two main hubs, the eastern and western settlements, near modern-day Qaqortoq and Nuuk. At its peak, nearly 5,000 Norsemen lived here, building stone churches and farming hardy livestock. If you visit Greenland today, the ruins at Hvalsey are a haunting reminder of this era. This is where the last written record of the Norse in Greenland was made, a wedding in 1408. Shortly after, the Norse vanished. Why? Climate change during the Little Ice Age, plummeting ivory prices, or perhaps a failure to adapt. But while the Norse faded, the Thule people, the ancestors of modern Greenlanders, thrived. Arriving around 1100 CE, they brought superior technology. The umiak, large skin boats, harpoons for whale hunting, and dog sledges. They didn't just survive the Arctic, they owned it. Recolonization and the Danish era. For nearly 300 years, Europe essentially forgot about Greenland. That changed in 1721. A missionary named Hans Egede arrived near present-day Nuuk, looking for the lost Norse settlers to convert them. He didn't find Vikings, but he did find the Inuit, and a strategic opportunity for the Danish-Norwegian crown. By 1776, Denmark imposed a strict trade monopoly. Greenland became a closed colony. When the Napoleonic Wars split Denmark and Norway in 1814, Denmark kept Greenland. This era was a complex tug-of-war between traditional Inuit life and European modernization. Denmark saw it as a civilizing mission, but it was also about control. For the strategists watching, this monopoly ensured that every pelt, every ounce of blubber, and every fish went through Copenhagen. Greenland was no longer a remote frontier. It was a company town on a continental scale. World War II, the stepping stone. The turning point for Greenland's global importance was April 9, 1940. Nazi Germany occupied Denmark. Suddenly, Greenland was a colony without a mother country. The United States stepped in. Fearing the Nazis would use Greenland to launch weather reports or even air raids on New York, the U.S. signed an agreement with the Danish ambassador in Washington. Greenland became a stepping stone for the Atlantic ferry route. Thousands of Allied planes used Greenlandic bases to refuel on their way to the European front. Pause for a second. If you were a strategist in 1940, how much would you value a base halfway between New York and London? Let me know in the comments if you think the US should have pushed harder to keep it after the war. The Cold War and Thule Air Base. After 1945, the heat of the Cold War turned the Arctic into the front line. If the Soviet Union were to launch nuclear missiles at the US, they would come right over the North Pole. In 1951, the US began a secret project, Thule Air Base. Built in record time, it became a massive early warning radar hub. But this came at a cost. The local Inuit population at Umanak was forcibly relocated to make room for the base, a move that still impacts Danish-Greenlandic relations today. Greenland was no longer just a colony, it was an unsinkable aircraft carrier. In 1953, Denmark officially changed Greenland's status to an integral province, but the military importance remained the primary driver of international interest. Modern geopolitics, the new gold rush. Now, let's talk about right now. Why did the US try to buy it again? 3 reasons: location, minerals, and sovereignty. First, the ice is melting. As the Arctic ice retreats, new shipping lanes are opening that could cut weeks off the journey between Europe and Asia. Greenland sits right at the gateway. Second, the Green Revolution runs through Greenland. The island holds some of the world's largest deposits of rare earth elements, essential for smartphones, EV batteries, and fighter jets. The Kvanefjeld site alone has become a geopolitical flashpoint, with Chinese and Western companies vying for influence. Third is the push for independence. Since 2009, Greenland has had self-rule. They control their own resources, but Denmark still handles defense. The government in Nuuk is walking a tightrope. They want the economic development that mining brings, but they must protect their environment and their culture. From Erik the Red's marketing scheme to the high-stakes mineral wars of the 21st century, Greenland has always been more than just ice. It is a land of resilience, where ancient Inuit traditions now meet global satellite arrays. As the world warms, the eyes of the great powers will only stay fixed on this island. Is Greenland the next global economic powerhouse, or will it remain a pawn in a larger game? If you found this deep dive into Arctic history fascinating, hit that like button. It really helps the channel reach more history buffs like you. And if you want to see more content on the hidden history of the North, make sure to subscribe to History Trails and turn on notifications. Before you go, I want to hear from you. With all the resources being found, do you think Greenland will become a fully independent nation in our lifetime? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.